guys, Happy New Year. Ghost can't be here today, mostly because I don't know where he is. My girlfriend has him somewhere, hasn't returned him yet, which is great, gives me a day off. He's a very high energy dog. Nevertheless, it's about mid-January. I haven't done a video in a while. I've had an awful lot going on, and it's been cold. Quite honestly, it's been really cold. It's touched down like minus 35, minus 36 Celsius, which is about minus 31, minus 32 Fahrenheit. Right now, it's about minus 1, which I believe is hovering around minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So, much better day to do a video. When I started, I always said, you know, I'm always going to go to the bush. I'm never going to do a video at home. Not really thinking about how cold it gets and that cameras don't really work all that well in the extreme cold. As a matter of fact, I went on a hike. I went about 5 miles out in the bush, set up to do a video, and realized my cameras just wouldn't do the task when it was that cold. It was minus 36 or minus 37 that day, Celsius. So it was a long trek into the woods. It was cold. Oh boy, what a day. And mostly it was just for the exercise. I didn't even take Ghost with me for that one because he doesn't really like the cold, and he didn't want to come out. So that was just me who suffered. So we are mid-January 2018. Once again, Happy New Year. Hope everyone's doing well. Today, what I'd like to talk about is those survival Altoids tins. I went and got a tin just to hold it up as a prop. I forgot it at home. Is there anything more useless than a survival pack in an Altoids tin or other small, compact, kind of thing? Back when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, everybody wanted bigger and better and stronger and faster. And now we want, more compact and more convenient and, tiny, tiny, tiny. And it's kind of weird because, like, phones are getting bigger again, and now survival tins are getting smaller. And what am I going to do with a little tin with some fishing line and some hooks and, I don't know, maybe a candy and a tiny, tiny little flashlight and, kind of whatever. I mean, we've gotten a bit of a warm snap over the last few days, and a lot of our snow is gone. Here in London, in Muskoka, they still have like 4 or 5 feet of snow, which I spend an awful lot of my time at home in Muskoka when I'm not working in London. So I go off into the bush with a tiny little survival tin even here, but in Muskoka especially. I'm gonna die. It's, I kind of see the point of, I have an extra few Band-Aids and an extra few whatevers in this little thing in my pack. That I can see. The thought that I can grab my Altoids tin, trek off into the woods, and be perfectly fine, that's dangerous. Growing up in Muskoka, tourists would come around and, they'd get themselves a new pair of hiking boots and maybe, some granola and a shiny new compass, and they'd go off hiking and get lost. And next thing you know, you've got, the volunteer fire department, the OPP Ontario Provincial Police, and a bunch of volunteers trekking around in the woods looking for these people that got lost because they thought, I'll be okay. I got some granola and some hiking boots and a shiny compass, and I'll be able to be back before dinner time. And they have no real practical knowledge on even how to use it. I remember, I think I was 16. These knives came out when I was a kid, the survival knives. Rambo was kind of a big thing back then. Sylvester Stallone playing Rambo. Everybody just, loved the movies, especially where I was from. And they brought out knives based on the knife he used in some of the movies. And this, I was like 16 years old, and this buddy of mine shows up at a campsite. And he's literally got like a shopping bag with a little bit of food in it and one of these survival knives. And he thinks that's all he needs to go camping. Just a little bit of food and this cheap piece of junk survival knife. And we're eating our food, and he's got, some hot dogs stuck on a stick, and they're sort of near the fire, and they're warming as he's trying to build himself a shelter with this knife. Every once in a while, he'd come over and he'd, munch down a hot dog or two and put another one or two on a stick and throw it down and go back off, and he's working on his shelter. And, we're like 16 years old. We didn't really know how to do a lot of this stuff even half as well as, we do now, or at least I do now. I don't know about them, but finally, it was probably close to midnight. I've got him at my tent, tapping away at my tent, hey, can I come in there and sleep? Do you have room for me? Didn't bring a blanket or a sleeping bag or, anything to keep warm. Didn't bring anything other than food and a stupid knife. And he ended up breaking the knife, trying to make this shelter. And it was kind of a miserable time for him. He had probably close to like half a dozen ticks on him too, I think we discovered in the morning. It was, because he tried to sleep in this makeshift shelter his half the night. And not a good time for him. As a matter of fact, I don't even think he's a camper anymore. I don't think he really enjoys going out camping into the woods and doing that kind of stuff. I think Altoids tins kind of carry that same kind of dangerous mentality, especially, maybe for, somebody, what I like to call the backyard Rambo syndrome. They get this, shiny new thing, whether it be a survival knife or a compass or an Altoids tin, and they bugger off into the woods, and no, I'll totally be fine. I'll take my little flashlight, and I'll be able to see when I'm, around at night, and I'm going to take my fishing line and hooks and whatever, and I'm going to, fish for my food, or maybe make a snare or something like that, and, I'll be able to get food and, kind of whatever, but, it's practically useless if you're in an environment like what I'm from, in Ontario, northern or southern, really. It's ridiculous. So, honestly, guys, if you want to put together an Altoids survival tin, you know what, fine, as long as you have the mentality that it's a backup kind of thing. You're fishing, you get a snag or, a fish bigger than your pound test line can handle. You lose your line, your hooks, your whatever, you've got a few extra stashed away, so you're not carrying around a great big tackle box. If your flashlight happens to run out of batteries, you have, you know, a tiny little extra one just to get you by until you can figure something out, or, you know, kind of whatever. You know, a couple extra Band-Aids never hurt anyone, I guess. A little tiny, you know, flint and steel or ferro rod or whatever. It's not always a bad idea, you know, just a little backup just in case. But please, please, please do not get yourself the shiny new thing, take off into the woods and think, no, I'll be fine, I've got my shiny thing, because it never works out that way. And hiking is great, camping, great, survival, not great. Survival is not pretty. If you're in a survival situation, generally it's because you've made a series of bad decisions. Step one of those bad decisions is relying on the shiny new thing that somebody said, no, you'll be fine. You're good with this. You know, you're A-okay. Well, either they don't know what they're talking about, or they're trying to sell you a product. And they're not worried about your well-being. They're worried about their bottom line, you know, what they're trying to sell. Whether they're trying to sell you, you know, their bullshit, or they're trying to sell you their product for money. It's not good. It's never a good idea to rely on that shiny little new thing. You know, growing up in Muskoka, not everybody came back alive. It was pretty rare that somebody actually did die of exposure or whatever, but it did happen from time to time. And, you know, the loss of a life is always tragic. It's always hard on the people that are left behind. But it's especially so when it could have been avoided should that person have made better choices and educated themselves a little bit better. So, you know, that's basically what I'm basically here to do, is to educate you, to give you something to think about and prepare, you know, your mind for more critical thinking. I'm not trying to pick on anyone. I'm not trying to be a dick. You know, all these, you know, jerk survival blah blah guys with their Altoids tins just piss me off. No, it's not that. Okay, it's not that at all. I'm not picking on anyone, being a dick to anyone, or trying to shove my opinion that makes no sense. This is something that, you know, I've put some thought into. This is something that I have some amount of experience with, both with, you know, people getting lost in Muskoka because of the compass, my buddy with a survival knife, you know, stuff like that. I'm looking out for you. That's basically what I'm doing. I you know, my viewers, friends of my viewers, anybody who will listen to anyone who listens to me, who thinks, no, this is a good idea, I'm going to do this. No, not a good idea. Please, please, please don't do it. Okay, you could end up dead, and it's not good for anyone. So, when you're, you know, making whatever comments you're going to make, you know, I mean, you know, try to keep them constructive, but just realize, you know, I'm not, you know, picking on anyone or making a big deal out of nothing. It's I have some practical experience, and a lot of it didn't turn out very good. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps somebody someday. And, you know, I'm still having a lot of fun doing this. Hopefully there will be a lot more to come very, very soon. Like I say, it's been so cold, and I've been so busy through the holidays, and work has really picked up. I've been doing like 12-hour shifts, just like bang, bang, bang constantly. So I've got some videos planned. I've got some, some spare cash coming in, so I'm thinking, okay, I can, like buy some shiny new things and, maybe show them off or whatever. So yeah, here I am rambling again. Like and share. If you have something constructive to say, even if you don't agree with me, please make a comment. And yeah, hopefully this starts at least some amount of discussion that turns into something positive and worthwhile. Have a good one.